It requires compliance. It requires listening. And I feel like those are the underused words in, on social media, because everybody's an expert, but there's these underused terms that kind of associate with a successful loveship that people don't want to discuss. So for example, I need to be compliant sometimes. In order for me to be saved, I need to listen sometimes. Yeah. Yes, I can kick and scream. Yes, I can fight you, but at this moment, I need to listen. Okay, so I'm listening. I'm listening, and yes, it's okay to submit when you know that the person who is leading you is being led by the Creator.
That part.
When the person who is leading
That's the key, right? Yeah.
is being led by the Creator, we can all submit. But if you're going to be led by Hennessy, if you're going to be led by Rick Ross,
come on,
then unfortunately, I cannot.
Madam Prez, drop the mic. Yes. How do I follow that? I think the reality of it is when you think of a word like submission, you have to unpack it. There's other characteristics like you talked about of listening. It's a different dimension of love as well, because I got to put a lot of faith into you. So that's got to be that kind of agape love, not that passing love, how you feel, maybe on Monday, not on Friday. It has to be more of also a commitment. It has to be atonement. How do you bring healing when things are wrong, as you were talking about that feelings and that circle of therapy? It has to be a whole lot of words. And maybe it's just the English major in me and the professor in me that the words matter and they count. And especially to take that word of faith. Oftentimes I've seen it growing up in the church. I was supposed to be a preacher, a teacher. You hear it time and time again, submit to your husband. No one knows what it means because no one's gone through the process of unpacking it. Because when you talk about submission, you're talking about beyond the agape love. You're talking about God's type of love. And that means that my feelings, my sentiment might have to be secondary to somebody else's. That's a commitment. Right. It's the chicken and the pig sort of thing. The chicken will bring the eggs to the brunch, but the pig has to bring the bacon. There's a sacrifice there. So before we use words, I challenge all of us to unpack what they mean and the responsibility behind them.
Let's go.
Amen.
That's great.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sisters right here, they pretty much, said it. But what she was saying when she said atonement, a lot of times people and women, they might start submitting, but when those mistakes happen and when those trials happen and you see that maybe he made a wrong turn or he did this and it put the family in a tight spot, you want to now all of a sudden stop submitting, right? But marriage is a long haul thing. You can't just start and stop, because he can't start and stop providing for you, so we can't start and stop, when it comes to submitting. And of course, like Madam said, he has to be led by God and he's still growing, so yes, he might not make all the right moves in the beginning, but that doesn't give us a reason to say, well, I'm never gonna, be under you. Well, if that's the case, then you're not going to be able to be married because there has to be that long haul. If I'm growing and I have to give myself grace because I'm not going to be the perfect wife in the beginning as well. So we have to give him that grace. He's not going to be the perfect husband. So yes, he's going to make some mistakes, but that should be no excuse for us to all of a sudden start treating him like, oh, I'm not going to submit to you.